Podcast. I'm your host, Dime, and we are back again with another interview. I have some amazing ladies right here with us. So before we get started, I want you guys to just introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is TheWordlyrik. Altogether, I'm a singer, I'm an author, I'm a model, I'm a speaker. I do a lot of different things, but in this part of my life, I'm really focusing on my music and furthering that.
Awesome.
Love that. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Gordon, affectionately known as the Pitch Doctor. I do public relations for founders, executive, and events, consultant, advisor, coach, speaker, all the things. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So starting with you, Lyric, when did you first realize you had a voice, a sound that felt distinctively yours, not just talent, but identity?
Starting so good already. Okay. For me, when did I, say the first part of that question one more time.
Okay. So when did you first realize you had a sound that felt distinctively yours?
When I was younger, I was 14 when I first started actually producing my own beats and things of that nature. I've always been around music, grew up in the church, so you know all the greats start at church, right? And of course in church you start off singing gospel or contemporary Christian music, but when I started producing and tinkering with all these different sounds that I didn't necessarily hear at church, I was like, oh, this is nice. I've always realized that my voice was a lot softer than the, normal gospel traditional singer. They can do the hooping and the hollering. I remember one time as a kid, I was trying to practice my preaching voice like my dad, and I was hooping and hollering in my room, and my dad came in talking about, shut that noise. Because I just didn't sound, it just wasn't normal for my voice. And so I started tinkering with lo-fi, tinkering with jazz, just soothing, calm things. And that was when I started to realize, like, oh, this is my foundational sound. But I struggled with that a little bit because it wasn't the sound that I grew up listening to or hearing at the time. So for me, I had to kind of wrestle with that inwardly and kind of talk to God a lot about that. Like, God, do you even accept this sound? This is around the time where traditional churches weren't so open to different genres. If it wasn't gospel or contemporary Christian, then it must have been sent from the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Seen that,
right. And it's like, especially if it was hip hop. If it was hip hop, then definitely sent for the devil, definitely scratch it. But thankfully, I also had parents who brought me into their world. They're in their 80s right now, and they brought me into their world of like Motown and that type of sound, soulful, when they're talking about love and getting to know somebody. So I was exposed a little bit to different sounds, but it wasn't until I started exploring those sounds and creating them myself that I was like, oh, I'm capable and able to do something different and it still be acceptable to God, and I can still be true to myself. And
I think a lot of people, they shy in that part. They want to be themselves, but they're afraid of being judged, or is this of Christ, or is this, when in reality it is, if you just stick to that, what do you say, moral. You know what I mean?
No, I agree 100%. And I think once again, traditional churches have they're coming out of it now, slowly but surely, but they're starting to understand that, hey, God created sound. Period.
Use it.
Sound. Music.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And just because, quote unquote, we pitch it that Lucifer is the creator of music. No. God gave him this ability to create sound.
And he did.
And
whatever he wanted to do.
And he did whatever he wanted to do with it. And that's the difference. What are you doing with your sound?
Exactly.
That
positive and negative. If you're using it to spread positive, then But if you're doing it to just cast out evilness, you can feel it. I don't think people understand that. Music, I'm telling you, you can feel that energy, like that immediate turn off. Like, I can't listen to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I believe in frequencies, and sometimes the Christian community, which I am a part of, but I think once again, we're going through this revolution of like understanding that God created everything, first and foremost. And especially when it comes to frequencies, right? And so I've kind of grown into my understanding, not to the point where I can tell you what hertz level this is and that is, but to the point where, like you said, on our spiritual, molecular, structural level, we can sense when a frequency is not right and when it is right.
Definitely.
You know, when you want to go to the club, at least when I was going to the club,
Yeah.
the first thing I was turning on was some frequency music that was going to tune me up to where I want to go to the club. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, when you're trying to get your mind right so you can go to church, you turn your frequency Marvin Sapp.
Come on now.
We've been there.
Right. You know, so I agree 100% with that.
Yes. How would you describe your sound to someone who's never heard your music?
To someone who's never heard my music,
Or hearing it for the first time?
How would I describe it? I would say it is nurturing. I have a nurturing sound. I have a sound that caters to the soul, to the mind, and to the emotions, right? I would also say, right, jazz is my fundamental structure because that's kind of where I thrive at, I feel like. But it is also infused as I am exploring these different sounds, and as I was sharing some new unreleased music with my manager, like, you know, the sounds are being infused with all these other different genres that I'm getting to explore now and fully be confident in. So you're not just going to get one type of genre. You're going to get all these different alternative backgrounds of this specific genre that is going to cater to your soul and cater to your mind and really just kind of meet you where you are. But I also like a little groove, so you will groove here and there. It's funny, though, because my manager, Chris, the pitch doctor, she tells me all the time, she was like, when I listen to your music, I don't listen to the words first. And I've heard that multiple times, and I'm okay with that because if I can grasp, I feel like the first thing that a person is going to take in with their spirit is, once again, the beat of the music. That's going to be like the base level that's going to bring that person in. And so after that, they play it on repeat. They'll get the words eventually. And if they don't, then okay, they're still playing my song. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
All that matters. To the Miss Manager, let's talk to you. What did you see in Lyrik early on that made you believe she was worth investing in?
Tell the truth now. Tell the truth.
All right, well, I won't say anything that I said to you. It was definitely her sound. It was definitely her look. I like just it factors, wow moments, and something that kind of looks different than what you see usually or what you hear usually. The best example that I can give is like we've seen like a little portrait where it's like 1,000 people going to the right and one person going to the left.
I've seen that one,
over there. So looking for people that can stand, you know, solo in that type of open lane is what I look for as well. And that's immediately what I saw out of Sarah, TheWordlyrik. I'm like, wow, she is creating something new. And like she says, like that infuse in there. I just feel like she's like a melting pot of sultry, soulful vibes. And I was like, oh man, I want that, you know, for my events, for myself. I want more people to have that. I want people to understand the depths of music. And I think she just really captures that.
Yes, I can say the same too, like with your music. And I was having a conversation with a few people at work, and I'm like, not to take away from, you know, Cardi B and all of it. We need sensual music for women.
Yeah.
Like we need that music that just make women feel good about themselves, not exploiting ourselves, not putting ourselves in that negative, all of that type of vibe. Like listening to just music that's just uplifting. Like I like Solange.
Yeah.
Women love Solange. Like music like that.
Yeah.
You know, we women, we need that to make us feel good about ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, and I feel like it brings a different vibration to you as well. Like, it's a way, like, I can explain it, but I can't explain it. It's like a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, when you listening to that type of music, it just makes you feel so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I get that from your music, makes you feel good. And it's just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Wow, thank you.
Seriously.
And I
need
first loved jazz, like before I
Yeah.
loved any genre. So it was like, I just feel like everything in my career has become real full circle. Like I really love skating, and now I do PR for a skate company, and I really love jazz, and now I manage a jazz artist. You know, so it's for sure. You just touch a little part of my soul.
I thought she was gonna embarrass me. No, I'm joking.
I take it all back. Okay, we're going to shift gears. What are some upcoming projects you have in store? Like, what can we look forward to?
Okay, so some upcoming projects that everyone has to be able to look forward to. First and foremost, I am working on an EP. Okay, R&B-ish. Once again, light on the R&B because it's not specifically R&B, but it's talking about love, right? It's giving personal examples of certain situations that I've been in, right? Things that I've learned from, things that I've grown from. And so there will be an EP coming out for that. I don't know exactly what the name is going to be, which I'm working on. I don't know.
So that goes into, because I was going to ask
Yeah.
the center theme or message around it. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm really leaning towards hopeful romantic, naming it that.
I'm just a hopeless. I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love romance. I just love love.
You know,
I'm
like
just a girl in love.
love is such a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And so, okay, I'll tell y'all a little bit about what those two songs are gonna be about pretty much. So the first one is a prelude to the next song. The first song is called Lover's Dream. And really, it's just talking about how your heart can be easily led astray if there is no discernment, like we were talking about on the way here. If there is no discernment, if there is no wisdom being put together with that love and that affectionate feeling that you may have, right? And so it's kind of talking a little bit about that, but then it goes into a personal experience of mine. The next song is called Amazing Grace, and not amazing, it's not that. But it is Amazing Grace in this sense that I'm expressing my joy of liberation from a situationship, if you will, that was never going to work out to begin with. And a lot of times we know when this stuff ain't going to work out. We know. We know. We just stick around a little too long.
That's my problem.
Yellow flags never turn green.
Come on.
Like Mario could just collecting all of the red flags.
Exactly.
We just got to start dumping them.
Just dump them out. It's okay, you
Yeah.
know. But yes, so just celebrating my liberation from a previous situationship, and realizing that, hey, you know, it took some time for me to be able to look at this person and not feel anything. You know, sometimes you go back and you may see this person and then something stirs up again. Something's there still. So you know that, hey, this person is still not out of your system yet. And so the joy of, the joy of healing, the joy of being able to say, like, hey, I might have messed up. I might have made a few mistakes here, but you know what? After some time of healing and separation, I can finally look at you and say that this is amazing grace, because now when I look at you, I don't see my hurt anymore. I don't see my pain anymore. I don't see trauma anymore. I can look at you with fresh eyes and also still not feel those romantic feelings again. So, you know, when the chains break, pretty much, amazing grace. So, yeah.
Well, we look forward to all of that. All of that jazz. Okay, let's see. To Miss Manager, here we go again. How do you balance protecting the artist with pushing her to grow?
Ooh, that's so good. I love that. And especially because that was one of the first things she specifically anchored in our conversation as a want for her. I usually start with my clients like, I know what I'm supposed to do here, but what are you looking for me to do here? And the first thing she said was just protect me. And I was like, girl, you have no idea. Mama Bear has locked in. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have a growth mindset at the heart, at the root. And so I'm always looking for the best out of someone that I already believe in. But also, I think that someone should be there to kind of hold your hand through new experiences. And even like the first question that you had, and you were like, navigating the unknown. I think that's what's most scary for people. It's not that they don't want to show up differently. It's just like navigating a place you've never been before. Like, how do you do it? And not having the answer for that question just makes you do nothing. And so I find that, it's not only in my positioning that we're better together, but you usually do things better when you have someone with you, some type of accountability, some type of, I call them emotional support mammals, right? It just helps considerably. So the growth mindset is the root of it. It's like, hey, I see the potential. I believe in you. I really want you to have everything that you said you wanted. Yeah. But then, the protection is in getting to know your client and understanding the things that they've been through before and not wanting to trigger or, even resemble that. Yeah. And then, just standing on business. I guess that's just I represent brands before they're ever in the room sometimes. And so that's a priority of mine, to make sure that the brand is protected. And sometimes that brand is a human. And in this case it is, right? And so making sure that her interests and her wants are protected is just my first priority. I'm sure it helps that I'm a mom and wife too. So we already just don't play about what we love. So,
There's a narrative that women cannot work together. From our experiences, or even your experiences, is that true? Obviously, it's not true. It's obviously
can't work together. That's a full lie. Okay.
Where do you think? Yeah. Well, we're gonna start with the first question, but also, where do you think it comes from?
Oh man, damn, you're getting into it. All right. First thing is yes, that it's not true. Women definitely can work together. They should work together, and they do work together. But there are certain personality types that make that challenging. And there has to be someone on the other side that's willing to navigate those challenges. I think women especially, underestimate that even this is a relationship, right? Like, we don't have to be smashing or, obsessed with each other or lesbian for each other, whatever, but it is still a relationship. We are still connected. And so there are some responsibilities that come with that. And patience is 100% a key factor when you're building a relationship. And I just think that if we're moving into the why, we've been through so much where the relationship or the experience didn't serve us or didn't benefit us, or it just went completely awry. And, that trauma or that safety net that we build around ourselves is like, don't do that again. But it's not, don't do that again. It's actually, what can I do differently? Right? So, yes. Definitely the can't isn't the case, but I do know where that roots from. I'm definitely not a sugarcoater. And so I will say that there is an age group of Black women that are just like, they need a little bit of something extra, some coaching, some healing. We talked about on the way here, just some encouragement on how they don't have to do it alone, that no one is out to get them. We both can win. It's not an either or thing.
Exactly.
Duality really exists. But I'm, even coming here is like, we're trying to just debunk that narrative considerably because of all the positives that come from when you do actually collab, intentionally, strategically, and with the right mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like you get like a huge, like sisterhood. You get like, it's so many benefits from working with women.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I was telling Lyric earlier, it's like where I'm at, I don't really get that. So I have to like travel to get that. So, yeah, it's just that type
we'll
of
travel to you, girl.
Absolutely.
it's like that, but just being in I've been in spaces where it started off as good, you know, the compliments, the love, the pouring in, and then when something happens, it's like, oh, the side eye.
Oh, man.
Then it's the mean
Yeah, for
looking.
sure.
I'm currently dealing with it at work now. So it's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
You know, it goes from, oh my gosh, I like you, you're pretty, you're this, you're that, and then weeks later,
I know that all
and
too well. People meet me and
it's
they're
hurtful.
Like,
And
your
I'm like,
personality is so great. You're
Yeah.
so bubbly. You're so. Then I'm like, there's another side to
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Like, stay tuned. And it's not to like prep them that I'm about to, you know, flip the script, but it
Right.
really is to say, my goodness, there are multiple sides to everything. There are so
Exactly.
many perspectives to everyone.
it's like peeling back the layers.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
have to be able to pull back the layers, and you have to discern when
Yeah,
you want
exactly.
to, and you should.
Yep.
And I agree. Like the sisterhood that comes with us connecting, it's like that really should be the wind, if nothing else.
Exactly.
Making sure that you have a village or a community or some type of support.
Right.
It's just like a sounding board, right? Like I don't really always need you to do something. I
Right.
need you to just listen. And that's
Exactly.
invaluable. And a lot of women don't have that, you know, whether it stem from their parents, not having siblings, you know, having a lot of issues, you know, in trusting relationships in general. But
Right.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, we can go on from
Exactly. I was like, bring it on it.
What boundaries are necessary when working with other women in creative spaces?
Understanding,
Yeah,
grace,
yes.
intentionality,
Patience?
yes, absolutely, and non-negotiables. I'm not gonna lie, like we talked about that too, like having boundaries on what you know protects you. Like again, the question, like she came was like, I need somebody who's gonna protect me, and that's great. But the conversation I definitely returned to her is like, we also are gonna work on how you protect yourself and how you show up in a room, being able to look and see and do things. I think I have a different narrative of that all around the board. One, because I'm a wife. One, because I'm a mother. One, because I've, you know, been at this game a little bit longer than most. But I find that it's more us than anything else.
Right.
It's like we have to sit with ourselves on what it is that we are or are not, or that we want or that we don't, to really drive what's happening in that relationship, and especially in workplaces.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not here for that, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to like me, actually.
You have to deal with each other.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just
and that's actually
get
one
it
of my
done.
non-negotiables. It's like,
Yeah.
right, you don't have to like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will respect me.
Exactly.
You don't have to like me. And I'm
Yeah.
fine with not being likable. I mean, that's
Oh
one
my
of the
goodness.
things that
We need to, like, that's something that I tell people all the time. Like, you can be like, being yourself. Like, of course, people aren't going to like you, but I feel like it's so many people pleasers out in the world, or people that just want to be liked. I say, I don't want to be liked by everybody. I don't care
Yeah.
to not be liked by
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
So, of course, like when I'm first meeting people, they're like, oh, she seemed like she this and she's that, or you get this first like glimpse of, oh,
Yeah.
I'm nice.
Yeah.
But I still have that boundary where I'm like, I don't have to deal with this. I want to leave. That's the first thing I do. I leave.
it's actually because
yeah.
most people are trying to be nice.
Yeah.
That's half the problem. I'm not nice anymore. I'm
Yeah,
kind.
kind, right.
I'm kind always.
Kind.
But nice is
Yeah.
like, it depends on what you serve me.
Exactly.
Reciprocity is my favorite love
Exactly.
language, personally and professionally. So yeah, it definitely, you have to be able to pull back the layers, but also you have to know that you're in the room with someone or in the space with someone who has the capacity. to do that.
Exactly. Right. Okay. In today's climate, where women are often pitted against each other, why is collaboration between women artists and women-led teams so important right now?
Child, that's very important right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Should I go there? Should
Take it there.
Take it there.
Take it there.
Okay. Okay.
it.
Let me first
Do
tell
it.
you.
Do
Let me tell you something real quick. Okay. First and foremost, women. Okay, this is what I wanted to say earlier, but y'all were having a sister man's moment, and I loved it.
New
So I was
word
eating
alert.
it up.
New word alert.
Sister verse.
Put that in my dictionary.
Yeah.
My girl words.
Right. Women don't give enough credit to other women for being able to understand women. If anybody's going to understand us, it's us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think we've heard the narrative that women cannot work together. Women are not safe with each other. Women are too catty. Women are too emotional. And it's like, man, we've been pinned so much against ourselves that we aren't even able to see the benefits.
Yep.
Like y'all were talking about earlier. It's not just about sisterhood, but I can go to my manager and cry about something. And she doesn't think I'm weak. She's not like, get it together, suck it up.
No, ma'am.
She meets me as a human being first. And then she comes in and she's like, all right, manager says this. Now let's grow from this. Now let's learn from this. Now let's become better.
Right.
And because of that, because she's a woman, because she has emotions, right, that she's not afraid to also express with me, we can come together and we can be honest. And a lot of women are afraid to be honest.
Yep.
They're afraid to admit their insecurities. They're afraid to admit their flaws because, once again, maybe through experiences, those things have been pinned against us in so many ways.
So you look at it as a flaw. That's what
Exactly. And so going to your question, it's very important, I think, for women artists to have a hopefully majority woman team.
Yeah.
Because, once again, they're women. Simple as
Exactly.
that. They understand. And I have worked with men. I've had, you know.
Me too.
Yeah, them
Men
things. Men, once again, we're not going to turn this into a I hate men thing, because we don't.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
about
guys.
that. We love guys.
Yeah.
We appreciate God created them for a reason.
For a reason, yeah.
But for certain reasons, they probably not the best ones to work with.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest reasons is because the line becomes too easily blurred. And it's hard, you know what I'm saying? When you are a woman artist, or maybe you're working with another male artist, or whatever the case may be, it's easy for those lines to become blurred. It's easy for us to become so starstruck in our stars, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And I've had more experiences like that. I've had a guy literally tell me, you know, he's a piano player. He was supposed to be helping me with the project. He was like, yeah, I'll help you. I'm willing to pay this guy. Pay him. He's like, hey, well, instead of you paying me, how about you come to my house and cook me some food?
Here we go.
Exactly.
Well,
If any men is don't do
that isn't quite the bartering that we
That's
promote.
we're not. No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. First and foremost, why are you inviting me to your house? And why do you want me to cook for you?
Yeah,
like,
bro. Where's your
I'm
mom,
trying to
your
give
wife?
I'm trying to give you money.
Now, if I may, I just want to jump in here and
Jesus.
say there is a level to that I understand, but I do think that the approach and how you go at it changes things.
Yeah.
You know, I have been the one to specifically have to find someone to cook for a man who, you know, couldn't necessarily or had too busy of a schedule, right? So that type of exchange of value and power is it is the reason for man and woman. At the same time, like I said, it's about how you approach it and how you position it, and hopefully with tact and all the things. But if I were to answer the question, I would say it's important for sisterhood because of our capacity and our attention to detail.
Right. Yeah.
Men don't have those things. And I mean, I'm not an artist, but I can speak to it from a creative lens. You know, I staff at least 11 to 15 different freelancers at any given moment. And I can see the differentiation between how they process things, right? When I give it to my, male freelancer, it's very surface level. He understood the assignment. He did it exactly the way that I said that he should. And that's the end of it. But when I give it to my female designer, my women designers, I see them taking it a step further. I see them, wanting to make sure that the letters are actually centered or leaving some white space in the design. So, I think the perspective is different, and we value how we see things, so why not collaborate with that? But the capacity is 100% different, right? Like the way that we can have multiple children and love multiple children, you know what I mean? Like that says that we have the ability to do more. And then the attention to detail, that's not just in design, that's literally in just being considerate. I think women have that nurturing spirit that welcomes more of what a relationship needs in order to thrive and build on something that starts from nothing a little bit better than men can.
And I think as well, to add to that, that we're able to work out the rough stuff. I know we're not painted as that. We're not painted as people who can work out and actually kind of get out of our emotions even and peel back the layers a little bit more, because we're just painted as catty individuals who are just super emotional. But it's like, man, I can't count the many conversations that you and I have already had to where they were hard conversations, or not necessarily hard, but maybe uncomfortable conversations. But it's like, okay, we're able to peel back the layers. All right, let's look at it from this angle. Let's check it out from this angle. Let's analyze ourselves. Did I do something wrong? Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, whereas working from my own personal experiences, and this is not always the case, but a lot of times, more than none, a lot of times men are not willing to look at themselves and just be like, hey, well, am I the problem? Did I do something?
Say it. No, I'm just kidding.
Did I do something wrong? Like, you know, did I, how, you know, maybe I could have went around this a little bit better, structured this a little bit better. It's like, no, it's your fault. And that's that.
Yeah. Well, I think that also just is like, because we're a little bit more compromising, a little bit more lenient. I think that goes into the nurturing. But yes, it's us knowing that the connection is a relationship and being able to kind of give a little bit more to it as that without needing to identify things that make it a relationship. You know what I mean? So.
What does accountability? I can't talk. What does? That was so bad.
It's all the love you feel.
Yes. What does accountability? What does accountability look like when women collaborate professionally? I didn't jack that word all up.
It's okay. It was the love.
Is it? I'm sorry. Is it okay?
I would say it's when you can take the good with the bad, but also when you, I'm trying not to use like trendy words and really make it, you know, something that is easy to understand, but it's having someone to help you stand on business is like one of the ways to be accountable, but then having someone who also just like sees where you are with it and is willing to be flexible, but at the same time, it's like, well, we got to keep the main thing, right? So like when we're putting on events and you're like, oh man, this happened and this happened and this happened, but what are we here to do? Okay, right? So I think accountability looks different no matter what you're doing or what the relationship is, but it should be rooted in just kind of keeping the main thing, you know, not being distracted by those outside experiences and lifing, right? But the accountability of making sure that you aren't just answering for yourself, I think is what really starts it at the head, right? Like that I could go into solopreneurship and all the things that, you know, tick me a little bit. It's like an ick for me. But just having someone there who, in a sense, like witnesses the process for you, I think is even just a natural, organic accountability.
Yeah. I think it's handling whatever responsibility is there at the moment. You know, life is always shifting and things are always moving. And
Always.
you know, things are always coming up. We have such a busy book schedule. You know, she has her schedule, her personal life, then her agency, right? All the things that come with that. And then, of course, all the things that come with me, you know, being a single woman, having to work every single day to make sure that I'm taken care of for myself, you know, on top of making sure I take care of my mental health. I have a heart condition that I have to make sure I'm not stressing over every little detail of life, you know, making sure I'm in the studio. So I have my own life. My parents are in their 80s, so I'm trying to make sure I check on them, make sure they're good. I do ministry work. So there's different places, you know, that we all have to pour into. And when we come together, making sure, like you said, like we're keeping each other accountable, but in a way in which, hey, like, I also get you got a life. So if you fall short in an area, or if I fall short in an area, I'm going to be accountable for like your feelings, your heart, where you are. But then we're also going to come together and be accountable for getting stuff done.
Absolutely.
Whatever the responsibility is, let's get it done to the best of our ability, and it's going to work out regardless.
Yes, that sounds like grace a lot. But if I were to add something else on it, I will also say accountability looks like being prepared for inconveniences.
You
know, I think when it comes to people talking about community and building sisterhood and building all of these things, those things are the result. But the journey in it is what actually creates some of the narratives that we've talked about, today, where it's like, women can't do that. It's not that. It's just like maybe you didn't prepare for some of the inconveniences that you would have to know to expect when you're building a relationship, when you're building a business, when you're collaborating with someone that you've never met before, just understanding for the first time, right? You guys come together for the goal of the business. At the same time, the result in it, or what you're wanting to get out of it, is going to take some other stuff that you all haven't talked about, that you don't know, that you haven't seen or experienced. So being prepared for those inconveniences, I think 100% helps you stay accountable, and the reason to stay accountable.
That was well said.
Thanks.
So lastly, what is the long-term vision for Lyrik and Miss Chris, manager, locally, nationally, globally, and where can we find you on social media?
You want to start?
No.
No? I'm like, that's a heavy question.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll start. That's a really heavy question. And okay, so recently I was talking to Chris and the pitch doctor. I don't know, I like saying that. So yes, and she asked me, we were talking about my brother, who's doing phenomenally well right now. Like, he's winning awards and things of that nature in the music industry and the gospel music industry for sure. And it's funny because a lot of people talk to me and they're just like, hey, why don't you connect to him? Why don't you do this and do this and do that? And there's no problem with me connecting with him. But I have to tell people all the time, his journey is not my journey.
A lot of people got to understand that too.
Yeah, his journey is not my journey. He's like in his early 40s, I think. Or late 30s. Sorry, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he's gone through all of the things that I'm just now going through for the most part. And that doesn't mean I can't scale, but I do know that my journey is a little different. I don't really care too much about winning awards. I want to tour. And that's what I had to tell, my manager. Like, no, the goal is for me to tour. I want to tour around the world, and I want to spread my light. I want to spread my love. Like, that's the goal. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. An award, okay, I can put that on the shelf somewhere. It'll get dusty. That's nice, And no disrespect, but I like impacting people in real time, So I guess you could say, like, my goal right now is to continue to structure out my platform, structure out continue to structure out my platform, but also structure my branding a little bit more, kind of fine-tuning it, because I'm still figuring out myself. I tell artists all the time, like, as you're learning who you are, your brand changes. Everything about your brand changes because you're changing, you're developing, you're growing, you're learning, you're expanding, or you're decreasing in certain areas. So for me, I'm really just on this wave of figuring out continuously who am I as TheWordlyrik, but also who am I as Sarah Aisha, my real name, And so as I'm doing that, I'm going to be putting out more music. The goal is to be consistent all throughout this year of just putting out music. I spent 2 years really doing a lot of like personal development behind closed doors, just kind of living a regular life, just going to work, paying my bills, and coming home and going to church and going back home and going to sleep. That was it for the past 2 years, but I needed that to ground me. I needed that so I can learn discipline. I needed that so I can be committed to something. You know what I'm saying? I need it so I can learn that God really is my provider. And when I fall short, he going to come through every time. You know what I'm saying? So I needed those moments for that. And a lot of artists need that too. They need to understand that, hey, your life is not always going to look like you're creating something. It's not always going to look super fun and vibrant and you're going to be here and there. No, sometimes you're going to be just working on principles and discipline.
Can y'all tell you she's a preacher kid? All right, tell them where to find you, Lyrik.
Yo, that was her way of saying, wrap it up. Okay. No, but for real, you know what I'm saying? If you want some more of this good word, you know what I'm saying? Follow me at TheWordlyrik, okay? So TheWordlyrik, TheWordlyrik on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, as well as any platform for my music. All right, Chris.
Well, if I'm continuing from what she said, all that work she's doing, I need to give it to somebody that can see it and can feel it, and can pay for it. Heavy on the pay for it.
I'm just
so I'll be doing a lot of that. I'm a visibility architect, so finding creative spaces for artists and creatives and founders and products and services to thrive is just what the mission and the goal is. Through and through. So that's as it relates to the word lyric or Sarah Aisha. Personally, I am diving considerably into public speaking a lot more. I've been behind the scenes for 6 years as a public relations executive, and I've loved it. It's where I've been comfortable. It's where I've thrived. But I think, I know that this next level requires me to be a little bit more front and center, which
speak on it.
So uncomfortable.
Yes,
so uncomfortable. Forget what
Yeah.
you see. I am not like, don't look at me all the time. So just coming a little bit more to the center, or off center to the stage, please. Don't put me right in the center. To just speak a little bit more about the experiences that I've gathered in hopes that it helps someone else go through the process, collaborate better, differently, more. Events are a huge deal to me. There are a lot of amazing things coming to the Hampton Roads area. The 757 creatives are up to a lot of great things, and I think they're getting a lot of things a lot better when it comes to collaboration. So, Beats on the Beach and Supergirl Festival and Music is for Lovers, Jazz Teens. Like, I don't want to name drop all the things, but definitely events are where I find my people, and also where I make the most impact. So I'm heavily leaning into that. And you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the other Threads. I really love Threads. At pr.marketingprivilege, and that's spelled PRVLG.
And yes, y'all, that is it. I'll have everything, like all of the ads, the social medias down in the description box below. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.